going to take that Scourge's key and then take off his head.
Hello guys, King Series here, back in the future to reviewing the Transformers Rise of the Beast Studio Series 102 Optimus Prime. And I know I say this in every single review. I've been wanting to review this figure for so long. I know I say that in every review, but this is hopefully the last time I say this. For so long I've been wanting to get my hands on this figure, and I finally have it in person. I got him at GameStop for like a pretty decent, I think it was like $1 off for like GameStop members, but it didn't really matter. He was still like 35 bucks. I got him for a pretty decent price, and I decided to go and get him, and I do not regret getting this figure. He actually is he's pretty decent figure. They did a good job on him. But enough talk, let's go and get into the sculpting, in which I have no complaints when it comes to the sculpting. The back, there's no back kibble. There's zero back. I know everyone's already said this. Prime vs. Prime's already said this. Everyone's already said this. But there is zero back kibble. There's barely any kibble on the figure at all, besides these little wheels and those parts. And that's just nitpicking. At that point. There's zero kibble, and I'm surprised. But I'm pretty sure they have a bigger budget when it comes to Voyager classes, so that makes sense. But besides that, and also a few other things, like there's not really that much to complain about when it comes to sculpting. The silver paint is there, it looks great. The head looks great. Everything else looks pretty decent. Let's go and get into its articulation, in which he has a pretty decent amount, but if they didn't do certain designs like the hot rod arms, he would have had a lot more. But starting off, let's go and start off with his head, which can look up that far, can look down that far. So we'll full 360. And it is on a ball joint, so it can tilt side to side. His arms have the hot rod arms, so they go out that much. Also swivel full 360. Not any type of butterfly joint, sadly. A bicep swivel, a double bend at the elbow, and a wrist swivel. He has a ab crunch, which isn't even part of the... No, actually it is part of the transformation, never mind. It's mainly part of the transformation, but you can work it as an actual piece of articulation. He has a waist swivel. His hip skirts are on hinge joints. His legs can kick up that far. He can also kick back not that much. And also kick to the side that far. Upper thigh swivel and a bend at the knee. His feet are also on a hinge joint and a ball joint. If you work those two together, you can get this pretty decent, actually a pretty great ankle pivot, along with a swivel at the foot. As of articulation, and what's the point of articulation if you don't have any accessories to get many poses with? In which you have two. You get his barrage cannon, in which it might be called a ion cannon, but I just gotta call it a barrage cannon because that's what they call it in Fortnite. In order to equip it, you just need to open up this little piece here, fold up the hand as if you're about to transform it, and peg the cannon in which I've heard many complaints, in which I can agree with. The cannon's too small, but I mean, I'm pretty sure, like I said before, they work off a budget. That's why he doesn't have his axe. You have to get it with Optimus Primal, which I figure is like 50 bucks. So I'm gonna have to get that figure one of these days, maybe, if I can. That looks pretty cool. He also has his Energon sword, which can peg into two places. You can either peg on the side of his arm this way, or it can peg on, you can make it more accurate, and you can peg it into the peg hole near his wrist, which makes it look more accurate to the movie. You can get him into some pretty cool poses with these two accessories and just with the articulation that you have. Like so. Looks pretty cool. That's mainly it for accessories. Let's go and get into size comparisons, and then after that, let's go and get into his transformation. Let's go and start off with size comparisons. Here he is next to Core Class Optimus, Sushi's Bumblebee, Sushi's Megatron, and Siege Optimus. Okay, now, let's go and get into his transformation, in which it can be, at times, it can be a little bit tedious, but it's mainly easy to do. First thing you want to do is open up his chest, This little gray piece here is just on a hinge joint. You just need to hinge it up. Like so, if I can. Oh. Be a little bit tedious to do. I just like to pull out his sword. I can get it out a little bit easier. There we go. Fold that up in front of his face, and you have to fold the whole entire piece down, which is just on a swivel. And then you can fold these chest pieces in. Once you're done doing that, you can fold in his hands, like we did before. Once you're done doing that, you can go and fold out these little arm panels, like so. This will form the side of the cab. Next, what you're going to want to do is fold these little side pieces down on both sides, along with folding out. No, you can keep those like that. Next thing you want to do is pull this back piece down, like so. Then you can activate that little ab crunch that we did before and swivel this whole entire assembly around. Next, these little wheels that are over here, you're going to want to fold these parts out, like so. I'm going to get into that to the light so you guys actually see it. Then the arms, which you're going to want to swivel like so. And then these little parts here, the hot rod joints, you're going to want to lift up the arms, and these parts are on a swivel on the side. Swivel them down, like so. And then you can do what you do with every single Optimus Prime figure. Go ahead and fold the arms in, like so. The same thing on the other side. There's these little pegs here are going to play a part later on. If I can peg that in without breaking it. There we go. And then this front cab can just push it in like so. Get that into the light so you guys actually. I need to get more light in here, so you guys aren't just looking at pitch black. Then you can fold down these Autobot insignias on both sides, along with these little gray pieces here. Next, you're going to fold out these little side pieces here, in which these side skirts are on there's a little peg on these little parts here. You can just peg in the side skirts, like so. These leg parts, the back calves, they unpeg and you can fold them up. But before I do that, probably should have done this before, actually. These parts fold up, like so. Have to unpeg them. There we go. And like we said before, these little parts play a key role because there's a peg here that'll peg into this peg hole here, and there's a peg here that's going to peg into this peg hole on this side here. We're going to get that to the light, that peg hole here, there. We're going to do that on both sides. Before I do that, you're going to want to go and get, like I said before, swivel these parts here. And after that, use that hinge joint and swivel this around and hinge the feet in. Like so. Then you can start. Oh, let me make sure everything's in place before I do that. You can go ahead and start pegging these little parts in. Make sure that everything is pegging in correctly and don't end up breaking something. I haven't done that yet, but I'd rather not have that happen during the video or at any time in my life that I own this figure. Hopefully I did not get my chin in the video. But make sure everything is in place. Make sure you got that pegged in. These things can be a little bit tedious. Sometimes they shouldn't be, but they can be. There we go. We have his vehicle mode. in which there is weapon storage. These little side pieces here can just peg into the weapon. The weapon pegs into these little side bits. And this little sword, this little peg here can peg into some weird holes that are in between his thighs. I feel like that should be a pause moment, but I'm not entirely sure. And there we go. Here we have this vehicle mode, in which I see where most of the budget went in the robot mode, in which I'm not mad about. The robot mode actually looks really, really good. The vehicle mode, it looks good from the front, but from the back, this little part here looks really, really weird. I guess the back cab looks really, really weird. The front cab looks good, but the rest of it doesn't look that good. But I mean, like I said before, in many other videos, I'm pretty sure each size class has a budget, so they work off the budget for this figure. So the budget only allowed them to do this. I'm pretty sure they probably could have gone all out if they wanted to, if they didn't have the budget. But overall, the vehicle mode and the robot mode are actually really good. Overall, the figure's really good. I'd say get it if you see it anywhere for a decent price, or just even the original price. I know this video's a little bit weird, but during the summer, I got like 4 more days left. I'm trying to make the best video I can for you guys. This is the last figure review before the summer. I'm so close. So I can't wait to see what the summer brings. Hope all you guys have a great day. King Studios signing off.